Hey, what's up, Antichrist Magazine? Thanks for having us on. Clearly, the only person that's here is me, which is one quarter of the band Sadistic Embodiment. My name is Curtis Viville. I play the bass guitars and I do the vocals. And Jason Colin does rhythm guitar and vocals. Wally Fisher does lead guitar and the vocals. And Brian James Newberry, aka Noobs, does the drums. Thanks for having us on, and let's talk a little bit about the band. So I've received an email with kind of the generic questions that everybody does in these Antichrist interviews. So let's go through the list right here. And, well, the first thing it says say hello. I did that. And short about the band, it says, well, 4 years old already. This fall celebrates 4 years since myself, Brian, Helgi Lepart. Yeah, we started as a three-piece, and then we kind of built up and gathered more and more members. We were a five-piece for a long time, in fact, for most of the time. And then we went back down to a four-piece, more recently for our recent release called Bloodspell. Say hello, short about the band name, meaning, etc. Band name meaning, okay, Sadistic Embodiment. A lot of people keep saying, oh, you mean like Cannibal Corpse? Yes, in fact, that is a name of a song and another death metal band where they've already taken up every single death metal name possible after 25-30 years of making death metal. But that is in fact a coincidence. I made the name Sadistic Embodiment 4 years ago. Maybe I had the name Sadistic Embodiment from Cannibal Corpse's song in my head when I thought of it, but to be honest, I thought that was a great name to encapsulate what the lyrical content of this band is about. And Sadistic Embodiment means us, humans, and all the different ways that we're, well, naturally sadists, and how we treat the world and how we treat each other and how we treat ourselves. So each of those contexts allows for, material to be written, and in regards to self-resentment, psychological self-destruction, environmental destruction, and our relationship with the whole world as human beings. So that's kind of that is indeed the root of the name, and it also happens to be the name of another huge death metal band that we keep getting confused for. Thanks, awesome, right on. Okay, behind the lyrics. So as I insinuated earlier, well, the lyrics embody the most extreme experiences of mankind, right? Whether it's through history or through psychology or through personal accounts. I may or may not be reading pre-written answers in my email on my laptop beside me. Yeah. So we explore the darkest facets of the human condition. And that can go both externally, the human condition externally, or the human condition internally. Internally could be like the psychology, could be the weird dreams I may have, and then I transcribe what I dream about, as disturbing as they may be, into songs. That's the most organic way to write music, is through my own sickness in my mind. And externally could be recollecting the events of all the horrible things people have done to other people throughout time. We have a song called Gallows Hill Jason wrote the lyrics for that one, and he reminisces about Ireland a lot because that's where Jason is from. So what does he write about? I don't know. Mass hangings of people, mass murder of people and witches from the olden days in Ireland. That's pretty sadistic, right? And myself, I wrote a song called Catherine's Braid, and that was a historical account of an old-fashioned torture slash execution device called the breaking wheel. And if you look at Bloodspell and the cover art for the new album, you will see a breaking wheel on that cover and a broken dude. Wally, he wrote two lyrics pardon, on the album, Phantom Tormentor and sorry, Wally. It's been a long day. As you can see, I'm in my hotel right now and working really long days, as we do. I'm actually in Prince George, British Columbia right now, but we're based out of Edmonton. At least we used to be based out of Edmonton because only me and Jason live in Edmonton. Wally lives near Calgary, and Brian lives somewhere in southeastern Saskatchewan now. So we'll see what the hell happens to the band, but we're gonna try our best to keep it together and keep awesome brutal death metal rolling. And so Wally wrote two songs called Phantom Tormentor and Cerebral Termination, of course. And that's about the whole psychology of the human condition. Alright, so I kind of gave you a little look into what the lyrics and the music are. Now let's look at the next question from Antichrist. Behind the cover art I just mentioned, that is a demonstration of being broken on the wheel. Catherine's Braid, the song, well, if you read the lyrics, if you can listen and hear what I'm saying, that goes through the whole process of that old ritual, of that old method of execution. And shout out to Danica, or Demonica. She's done all of our album covers since, so Gluttonous Perversion, the self-titled, and Bloodorn, and Beloved Imprisonment, and this current one, she designed, or I came up with the concepts, except for Beloved Imprisonment, and then she was able to take my imagination and then put it onto paper. So thanks so much, Danica, for helping us out. The next question is, why death metal? Why? Why would you ever choose death metal? Well, as I described, the lyrics are about death most of the time, and the content is, as death metal fans know, the content is horrendous and crude and disgusting, but also hopefully often introspective and intelligent and complex. And that's why I like death metal. It's got this paradox of being dark and evil and brutal and also very, I don't know, very like caveman, very grunty, just but also there's that capacity of being incredibly intellectual and technical and brilliant, because it's music, it's art. So why not death metal? Really, to answer that question. It says, tell us about your cooperation with CDN Records. Who? Yes, CDN Records. That is our record label, and they picked us up this spring. They're based out of Southern Ontario, and CDN predominantly does brutal death metal and slam, and they also are a great CD distributor. So Other distributors all around the world exchange CDs and cassettes with CDN Records, and vice versa. So our deal with CDN is, well, Craig gets us basically free CDs, jewel cases, and then we still own the music, and then he will sell that music and distribute it around the world, and then he will get his money back, and then we receive our CDs, and then we can sell them for our own profit. That way he benefits by selling our music and spreading our music around the world, and we benefit from that extra exposure, and then having basically free print jewel cases that we can sell and try to recoup whatever costs it takes to be a death metal band, right? So the second part of that question is, why do you think it's important to have a label deal? It's kind of like a band should only go up and get a label deal if they've kind of gone as far as they can go on their own. Maybe it's like maybe like a crab growing out of its shell. It's getting too big, but the crab can grow more. So time to leave that behind and find some more living space, and then grow within that. And then every time you go to a label, you see if you guys work, see if you both have make sure you have your goals set. Like how far do you want to go? And then at least the label recognizes that and has that expectation, and vice versa. And yeah. So go as far as you go. You can go on your own as a band through your own promotion and booking, and then eventually the label will reach out to you, or you'll reach out to a label, and then they'll try to bring you to the next level. And then the higher level you go, the less of a hobby that the band will be. It'll be more like a job that doesn't pay much, if anything. It's called a passion project. About scheduled / postponed tours, gigs. Yeah, so early this spring we were gearing up for a big year with our album release, and as far as death metal goes, there were some pretty big bands coming through town in Edmonton that we were looking pretty good to be the supporting band, the local act. Well, one of those bands early spring was celebrating their new release as well, which was titled Bring Back the Plague. Fitting, because right around then that's when the plague got so bad that everything got shut down, and Cattle Decapitation's tour was cancelled, and as well as the rest of the world. Yeah, so nothing's gonna happen. It's over, dude. Maybe next year. But there are a couple of venues in town that are doing some live gigs. Super organized. No one's allowed to stand. There's just like glass panes in front of the stage, and maybe we'll try that, but it's not the same. But maybe we'll say, screw COVID, let's go do a show. That's possible. The next question is some epic fail moments during live performances. Epic fails. I can't say we had epic fails, but we've had some. We have an issue with one song. It's called Arkansas Tigers. It's off of Beloved Imprisonment, and it's I think it's the first song that Wally wrote when he joined the band, and it's a bit of a faster song, not particularly complex, or not like any of our songs are very complex. Yeah, it's a sweet song. Sounds a lot like some sonorous Odium music. So Wally and I were in a band, a melodic death metal band back in the day. Sounds like that. Anyways, every time we play that song, something goes wrong on stage. Could be any kind of gig. Wally's rig will shut down, or Jason's head will explode. I mean, his his guitar head, the amplifying head, and or Brian's kicks will, you know, peter out or something. I don't know. But I'm perfect. Nothing ever happens to me, of course. And one time in Calgary, we were playing that song, and Wally's his entire big complex rig just shut right down, and it was just total silence for a minute because we all stopped, and there was this chick in the crowd. The crowd was like 10 people, typical, right? And she's like, "Welcome to Calgary! We're gonna eat you alive!" Like that, right? And she said that maybe 5 times. Well, I'm just like sweating beads. And it was probably just 30 seconds or whatever, but we picked it up, at least three, you know, me, Jason, Nate, the singer, and Brian. We just kept on going. I think Wally got his brakes set up a little bit later, but yeah, it's as bad as it gets. So like we're playing huge crowds and the stage falls apart and the tornado comes through and blows everything down. That's an epic fail, guys. Recent heavy music album that impressed you a lot. What impressed me a lot was a black metal release. There's this black metal band out of Iceland called Mispreming. I'm gonna mispronounce the word Mispreming. It's, I don't know, maybe I'll throw in the name of the band, but it's a really awesome black. Just type in Icelandic black metal and then Mispreming. Ah, fuck it. They'll pop up. And they have a new release. They've redefined their sound. It's pretty sweet. And earlier this year, one of my favorite bands called Svart Crown released a new album, and I love the album art. And they're kind of going a new direction as well. This sounds fresh. I really liked it. Svart Crown, I think it's called Wolves Among the Ashes. Check them out. They're like Gajura if they were like black and death metal out of France as well. How do you think COVID-19 will affect the music scene? Effectively kills the scene, kills the venues, everything's shut down, everyone's bankrupt, nowhere to play. That's what's happening right now. And it's going to get worse. It's going to be like a fire going through the forest, destroying everything. But the forest regenerates. The more intense the fire, the longer it takes. Bands will dissolve and burn up and blow in ashes, but at the end of the day, new groups will come back, reunite, venues will open up again under new establishments, and then the banks will own everything. The whole plans for the future. The whole plans. I don't really know what that means. Plans for the future, I guess. We'd like to get back together and jam sometime. It's been about a number of months since we've all played together in Sadistic Embodiment. We're still paying rent at our studio. Jason's the only one that uses it. And yeah, a lot of the members in the band are just going through a lot of, you know, life stuff and a lot of growth. I'm really curious to see where that takes us as far as composing new music. And we are on the way for composing new music already. We already have 2 or 3 new songs. That was even before we released the new album. Bloodspell was released on September 18th. Check him out through CDN Records. go to Sadistic Embodiment at the Bandcamp. You can buy hard cases of Beloved Imprisonment, a whole bunch of merch, download, stream all of our stuff off of Bandcamp. Check us out on YouTube, like us on the Facebook, I don't know, SC Death Metal on Facebook, and Sadistic Embodiment Official on Instagram. Keep your eyes out. We're going to keep pumping out content as best as we can, provided the circumstances. Catch you later, guys.